A deepening housing crisis has triggered fresh investment in Queensland's social housing stock. $322 million will be allocated in tomorrow's state budget to build 500 more social homes by 2025. So, will that do anything in terms of demand? Joining me live is Aimee McVeigh, CEO with the Queensland Council of Social Services. We hear so many headlines, the huge need versus the minimal supply. How will this tip the scales?
Well, look, we know at the moment we have about 300,000 Queenslanders who currently have unmet housing need. We also know that based on the government's current commitments that we will not get out of the crisis. The current plan to build around 1,300 houses per year for the next decade needs to be about doubled. And so a commitment to build another 500 houses is obviously nowhere near enough.
So in terms of the rest of the plans, there's also this plan for temporary housing to re-kit, if you like, the quarantine facility, which is a bit of a white elephant now. Will that help? It's going to be obviously up around Toowoomba. There's a decent city centre there, but is it going to be big enough to support, people that might be from Brisbane? Is it going to be a bit disconnected? How will that actually work, do you think?
We did see some commitment last week to invest in more crisis accommodation, including making Pinkenba, which is on the outskirts of Brisbane, suitable for crisis accommodation. The commitments I saw last week did relate specifically to Brisbane, and we know that the housing crisis is affecting all of Queensland. In fact, in regional Queensland, homelessness has grown by 29% since 2017, as compared to the national average of 8%. So we do need more crisis accommodation. We know that there are currently women and children across our state living in really dangerous situations, unable to leave because there is insufficient crisis accommodation. But we know that the problem exists across the state, and the current commitments, although welcome, are just not enough.
So that's the short-term aspect. What about affordable? Because so much of the conversation lately has been around how much governments are tipping into social housing, and that matters. We need some social housing. But is affordable something that really allows people to break the links, if you like, of intergenerational poverty? If you can get an affordable house, you actually have that house, you're paying it off. Social housing is great for people who need it, but you're not owning anything at the end of it. Is that the other missing element, and really tapping into new developments and requirements around affordable housing there?
Look, I think you're pointing to something really important there, and that is the need for a comprehensive plan to address the housing crisis, to meet the needs of all of those hundreds of thousands of Queenslanders who currently have unmet housing need. And as you correctly point out, not all of those people will need social housing. They need good policy settings, investment in the right places to make sure that we're actually increasing supply across the state, not just of affordable housing, but also, not just of social housing, but also of affordable housing. And we also do need to make sure that our private rental market is able to deliver for people on all kinds of incomes.